Welcome back to actually part five. So, part four was kind of like summing it up a little bit. We talked about the box and we talked about those four aspects that are blocking us. And, you know, I think if you missed anything, go back and watch it. And then we're moving on to the circle. So, and obviously a box has angles, you know, and so it can be difficult. And a circle is round, it's open, it's receptive, um, it's curved, so you kind of think non-violent. Where the box is edgy and it seems to trap, and things get are in the corner, and those sharp angles seem to push out in a maybe like a reactive way. You know, like have you ever like hit yourself on the corner of something? Blades have corners, they have edges. People have described as a chip on their shoulder. You know, what's that chip on his or her shoulder? I mean, I always felt like I had a chip on my shoulder, so that's why I use that one as the analogy. Um, but so, anyways, so shapes, basic shapes, can really uh, describe things. And this next part is we kind of talked about those four keys, and I want to grab some visual aids here. All right, we're back, and let's let's get into this. So Wayne Dyer was kind of a writer, kind of like a life coach who definitely was into like some religious spirituality, and and that was the language he used to try to inspire people. And I feel like for each guru, they're made for their generation, as we collectively learn and however we want to talk about it. Um, but one thing I liked is he mentioned, he kind of poses the question: can you drive a boat uh, with your head turned, looking at the wake, the patterns in the water that the propeller is making as the ship is going forward? Can you truly navigate, know where you're going, and move forward with confidence and clarity in life if you're looking at the back of the boat? No. You have to do a 180. You have to turn around. You have to look forward. You have to see the goal, the destination, and go confidently. And probably with some practice. You have to learn to drive the boat and all that stuff. And when we get stuck, because this is what the video is about, we can get stuck for a few minutes, we can get stuck for a lifetime. Have you ever been stuck in a long-term relationship or a job, or you all of a sudden got a friend and you wish you weren't friends with them, and whoa, that was a mistake? So those are some, I would call them external, surface level stuff. But we can get stuck with someone said something to us at a very young age. Maybe your grandmother said something and dashed your dreams of you being an astronaut or a dancer. You know, maybe the social and political climate wasn't okay for you to be gay, or wear the color pink. Everyone is going to freak out because you're wearing pink because you wanted to be a dancer. To the embarrassment of your mother and her little religious community, we gotta kind of like keep it on the down low. Uh, your son, you know. So, uh, and why? So, why do we choose to remember that? Why do we choose to own it and add it to our stories? Or another one, something horrible happens to a loved one, and you were like, why did you own their feelings? Why were you sharing in their grief too much? You know? Why did you lose yourself into their losses? Why did you, or heroically try to save them? And your whole life story all of a sudden becomes playing the hero in someone else's life. Why did you lose yourself to your kids and you overdid the mother role and you became a soccer mom, you know, or a career person? And then now you feel stuck because you don't have that career anymore, or your kids grew up, or they're ungrateful. You lose your identity in relationships. You lose your identity, your true identity, to being responsible, paying your bills, and winning that praise from your parents who don't even know you exist, and then they die. And what was so we come to these points in our life where all of a sudden we find that we're in a hole. And did you ever watch Never Ending Story? And the hero boy and his horse get lost in the bogs. I think it's like Atreyu and Artek. And there's that old turtle, and she's like negative. And that burned an image in my mind. I was like, is this depression or what? Like, I never want to be there. And so Atreyu loses Artek, his valiant steed, the symbol of being able to move forward. I think he loses it. I don't remember. It was pretty traumatic for a kid to watch a horse either die or almost die in the bog. Uh, but that is a really vivid description of getting stuck in our head, getting stuck in our emotions, getting stuck in tragedy, grief. Grief is a strong experience. And someone doesn't have to die to experience the depth of grief. For you, it might be the loss of a job. It could be stolen funds. It could be a death of a loved one. It could be a broken relationship. So for me, it was a broken relationship, and I did I wasn't even willing. I didn't even know I was feeling grief. My body started to shut down. I wasn't eating, and I wasn't I let my job go. I let my life fall apart. I let my finances fall apart. I basically committed financial suicide, and I couldn't function. And one day I was brushing my teeth, and this little voice in my mind, that truth just pops in, and it says, Onyx, you're grieving. And I went, really? So this is what grief feels like as I brush my teeth. Well, time to go to work. And it's like, bro, you got to acknowledge your feelings. Feelings, whoa, me and feelings, watch out. That's the last place I want to be. So many people are oversharing and living in their feelings and not managing them, and that usually turns out to be some violent behaviors attached to that, a lot of hurt people. So do we really want to go into our feelings? So for me, feeling feelings is a scary place, let alone expressing them or sharing them with someone else or allowing someone to help me process through feelings. It's like, let's just, you know, hold our breath. Let's just keep going to work. Let's just live for another day. And I wasn't processing my feelings. And the reality is that energy has to go somewhere. So it turned into physical symptoms. It turned into, why am I just letting my finances fall apart? Why do I not care about my life? Why am I self-sabotaging? Why am I not looking at what's under the rug? And who knows what's under there, really? Maybe there's 1,000 years of stuff. We don't know. So anyways, moving on. So yeah, looking at your problem sometimes isn't the best solution. I can rehash the story of whatever it is. I can look at those feelings over and over and over, and whoa, there's that repeating cycle. There's the habituation. and it's not getting you anywhere, and you're stuck in that like tar pit, that sinking dirt, or you're like on a you're just going around and around and around on a hamster wheel. You're like, I'm putting in a lot of effort, I think I'm really going somewhere. No, you're not. You're just on a hamster wheel. And so you can do that with your emotions. And it can kind of like wear you out and become you. But you can do that with thoughts too. You can be, and so Joe Dispenza really talks about how to push the stop button and get off that wheel, uh, just simply by closing your eyes and feeling your heartbeat for 20 minutes stops the hamster wheel. And there's scientific data to back this up about different brainwave states. And if you want to check that out, go check that out. If you want some inspirational stuff, go check out Wayne Dyer, who refuses to be a victim, who chooses to see life positive. So these are people doing a 180. These are people turning the key, and unlocking themselves from this inner psychological prison, this jail cell that we are talking about. So this may be first information for you, but really it's been happening since the dawn of time. I'm just trying to give it to you in a way that's not mystical, that's not religious, that's not love bombing, that's not psychedelic, that's not drug induced, that's not imaginary wishful thinking, but very practical for anyone at any stage of life who just wants to get to it and be done with it, you know? And so he talked about doing a 180, to learn to see where you're going, to take control of your life. And so, and while I was watching Joe, all that, I was doing some heart meditation, and the Joe Dispenza formula did not work for me. I'm just putting it out there. It did and didn't. Like, law of attraction, manifestation for wealth and relationships, to me, that's all very materialistic. I feel like my stuff is deeper. My stuff is at soul level. It concerns, I want to feel good in life each and every day. I just don't want to have this sensation, a mystical woo woo sensation. It's not about seeing psychedelic patterns. It's not about attracting the right person into my life and being wealthy and all that stuff. I did that with the corporate self help, and that's not what I needed. What I needed was an inner transformation, a rebirthing of some type. I needed something soulful to connect to my soul, to connect to my spirit, to bring back meaning, bring back value. And, so it required more. But what Joe Dispenza talks about is elevated emotions. When you focus on your heart and you close your eyes and you pair it with an elevated emotion like care, your brain goes into a whole new level. It goes into gamma state. And in gamma, you can have mystical experiences, spontaneous healings, all kind, intuitive inspiration. I would call it a creative state, really. Uh, and his method didn't work for me because I could already access a gamma state through a meditation practice that I've been doing for over 20 years. But, I was like, hey, let's do something different. Let's give it a try. Let's break out of the box. Let's expand our experiences. Let's practice turning one of those keys, changing the environment, changing my patterns. So I'm not telling you stuff that I just read. No, I've been doing this work for a while now. Um, it was like a constellation. Stuff that I've just naturally done. I've naturally decided life is an experiment. I go, let's just experiment. That drops the pressure of having to win, having to achieve, looking or an expectation of a certain result. I don't want to feel like a failure, so let's just experiment. Let's just toy around a little bit out of curiosity, and see, what would happen. if I did Joe Dispenza's meditation for 3 months? What would happen? And so what worked for me is I actually hugged a pillow, and I imagined it with someone I cared about. I was like, the neurology makes sense. If I wrap my arms around something, my brain and my body is going to think it's a person. And then I add visualization, and I'm in I fulfill the number one requirement: safe place, safe space. There's no one around, no one judging me. I get to have an experience and see what happens. Open minded, non judgmental. That was like the fourth key. And it was a very, very powerful experience. Uh, and so I felt like I sort of playing in my old emotions, looking at the wake, I did a 180 of the heart and freed myself to experience connection, energy, all kinds of things. Did it change my life? No. But yes, like it definitely changed. When I did my meditation practice, a lot of the spiritual energy would just come down to my third eye or move through my body, and it kind of skipped my heart. Now that my heart chakra is open, I allow that energy, I can move that energy all the way into my heart, physical heart. And so it's really awesome. Um, but so I brought this out 0 to 180. And so that's kind of like turning a key. You stick it in and you turn it, sometimes a quarter, sometimes a half turn. And imagine sticking these keys into your chakras. So one thing you have to unlock is your body. And so now we're kind of we're moving from square to circle. And if you want to receive information, not be judging it, not be blocking it, energetically and physically and psychologically, we were taught in the program open body. That means uncrossing your arms, uncrossing your legs, and relaxing. And you're in what's called open body position. When you're in a relaxing open body position, you receive information better than with your arms closed. I'm really listening. I'm taking notes. While you're putting energy, while you're crossing your energy circuits, and while you're taking notes, you're actually interfering with the flow of receiving it all. And this is important because we're going to move into jumping from thinking brain, 3D brain, to intuition. And it's a lot easier if you're in an open body position. Turns out I've been doing an open body position for my meditation spontaneously for over a decade. So I understood that. But so if you're trying to communicate with your partner and work through some stuff, and they're all crossed up, their legs are crossed, their arms are crossed, they're not receiving the fullness of your intention. And this goes into intimacy building and all this other stuff. Like, the stuff is deep. But for your sake, open body position, being open to receive. Even just think for a minute. You can do this exercise. Just think of your face as a circle. Or just visualize a circle. And all of a sudden, you start to look different. You start to feel differently. Your energy has changed, and you're receptive. Your intuition might click on. Your third eye might clear just by thinking of a circle. So yes, I did drop some spiritual kind of new agey words. What is your third eye? That's your mind's eye. What is your mind's eye? Your awareness. So you might feel more aware. Yay! You don't need to do a ritual or a technique to become aware. If I even start playing with meditation, I just go straight in. Anyways, let's move on. So being guarded being afraid of the world, having anxiety and depression, having physical illnesses, do you really have time to be in your heart fully, living the world with all that emotional baggage and the horrible memories and the generational patterns and the horrible environment and all that uh all the rituals, routines, and cycles you do to affirm that negative identity that we discovered was you and the box? Do you really think you can have a clear mind? Do you really think you can have an open heart? Do you think the energy is efficiently flowing or even concentrated there? Could you even live in your heart for more than 4 seconds? Probably not. You're probably in fight, flight, or freeze mode, and you probably do these cycles all day long. So that's why we need to practice, which was like that environmental conditioning, changing environment. And that third key, change the scripts, or fourth key, change the scripts. So there's a lot of action involved in self-transformation. So once your heart is open, and you'll know, because you'll be like, what? You'll be able to have a greater degree of intuition and discernment. You'll have a different type of clarity with your heart open. And so instead of trying to just shove everything into your head and make it make sense, you get to actually move it through your heart space. You get to actually move it through your belly and your gut, your physical body, gut instinct. It's a real thing. You're like, that doesn't feel like truth. Or what you're saying kind of gives me a sick stomach. The way you're saying things, the tone of your voice, it's making my stomach feel weird. I think you're lying. I think you're hiding the truth. I think you're feeling anxiety. And so your belly is considered your second brain in Chinese medicine. And brains sort and work out and organize information. If your belly can do that, if you have a strong gut instinct, it can serve you very well. It's a way of bringing in information. Your heart does it as well. With Joe Dispenza's work, they did all this research combined with HeartMath Institute, and there is a lot of profound new insight, information about your heart has a brain, it has neurons, it thinks, and actually directs the brain a lot. And problems happen when the heart and brain, their communication or their relationship has been thrown off. And it's usually because of fight, flight, or freeze mode. Due to our stressful society or people not being able to get over stuff, getting stuck in the box, they can't get that free access. And so this work pairs nicely with Joe's work. It pairs nicely with all these other disciplines. So then you can add it to your spirituality. Then you could add it to your artwork. Then you could add it to your career. Then you could add it to your therapy. But let's first just kind of get the nuts and bolts and get this down. That's what I'm saying here. So these 4 evolutions start to create a circle. We changed our body position from a fighting defensive mode, a rigid mode, a stern mode, a judging mode, to an open-bodied mode. So we did, you could say, a quarter of a revelation, a quarter turn. We've unlocked that. Then we opened up our heart. We started just feeling good in our body, feeling safe in our body, creating a space in our body, breathing, coming to a place of feeling, connection, relating, harmony, open-hearted. Whoa. And then your mind opens. Instead of focusing on all your problems, you find yourself here now. In fact, it just feels so good, you could just focus on how good it feels. But now your mind is open too. Maybe some creative thoughts are flowing. Maybe your intuition starts flowing. Whoa, that would be a great solution. Okay, or all of a sudden, oh, I understand what's going on with my coworker. Oh, I understand what's going on with myself even better. Oh, now I see the big picture. My mind, my awareness is expanding. I'm understanding past, present, and future, or the story of my life. I'm understanding what they're saying, or I'm getting it. That's signs that your intuition is actually working. It's not a thinking process. Uh, Sometimes when the information is ready, the cake is done, ding, and you get it. Boom. So the emotional center, being reactive, being defensive, feeling wronged, I would say those would be the lower emotions. But now that you're feeling relaxed and good, well, I just feel like hugging my dog. And that tree out there, it's so beautiful. I just really appreciate this moment. I appreciate the time that I've had to get to this point in my life, and so gratitude, appreciation, care, those are the higher emotions we're going for. Okay. So I had to clarify that because emotions can get really muddy really fast, you know? So versus thinking, problem solving, figuring it out, stressing about it, planning for the future, worrying about the past, trying to sort out the past, that's thinking versus my mind is open, I'm receiving great ideas, creative inspiration, guidance. It's coming to me, energy, even it's coming to my brain. My brain is relaxing. I find myself so we've moved our body, we've moved our emotions, we've moved our heart, and we've moved our mind. We have turned the key all the way, or we've turned all four keys, and the door opens, and now we are a circle. Now we are in the present moment. So present moment training feels, so how do we really get into the present moment? We need to feel safe in our bodies. Fight, flight, freeze mode has to be turned off. Now that I'm feeling safe, I can relax. Now that I'm relaxed, my emotions sort themselves out. I'm not worried. I'm not stressed. I'm not stuck about, I'm not feeling resentment. I'm not dealing with stuff. But for a moment, I'm here. For a moment, I can breathe. So I really love healing breaths. Like you're all stressed out, you're all wound up. Then all of a sudden your body just goes, that was a healing breath. Things have set. Oh, now with all that burden off of me, with all that weight off of me, without all that stress on me, the anxiety on me, without all that, now that it's kind of melted away, oh, I just feel good. You generally just have a sense of good, well-being. It doesn't have to be extreme. I feel amazing. Love bomb everyone. It's a spiritual experience. I'm really getting somewhere. No. No. You know what? This moment's fine. I don't feel like I need to do anything. I don't need to be someone. I don't need me. I just kind of want to sit here, rooted, grounded, centered in my being. Yeah, that's what we're going for. Your mind's already open. So now you've become the circle. What's so important about the circle? Well, in a weird way, that's who you are. Yeah, that energy is just starting to hit me as I talk about it and kind of tap into that. It's like you're experiencing your being. I'm just being here. I don't feel the need to get up. I don't feel the need to try to fix anything or be someone or do something. I'm not worried about the past, present, or future. In fact, I might even let the whole world fall apart because it just feels good to be here. I'm feeling my own self. What a weight lifted off my shoulder. I'm feeling myself. I'm okay. Life's okay. Everything's okay. It can just be okay. And I'm just feeling calm. It's starting to feel juicy. You know what? I feels like I'm coming home to my body. It feels like I'm coming home to my truth. It feels like it's coming home to my own mind. Everyone else has taken up spaces in my head. They all have free rent. I'm worrying about her. I'm worrying about him. I've invited all these people in. I'm the caretaker of the world, dispensing wisdom. And I didn't make a bed and clean up a space for me. Oh, that's probably not very good. Everybody out. Everybody out. My headspace. Everybody out. My heart space. Everyone out. My body. My sacred, beautiful body. My temple. My space. So we've moved from this box where we're trapped in our heads, in our minds, with all this content, programming, biological, environmental, inside and outside our life is a mess, boom. We've unlocked the door, transformed it maybe, or you just totally dissolved it. And now we are a circle. We are a sacred circle. We are a divine circle, if you'd like to call it. Or if we would like to keep all that spirituality out, we are just a safe place. We are a safe space. We give ourselves permission. We are relaxed. We are calm. So we've learned to hold space for ourselves now. Our physical body, we're holding space for our body. We're holding space for our emotional well-being. We're holding space for our mental well-being. And so we're kind of like stacking this up in layers. And now your intuition, your creative genius, you that is intelligent, like we really can't name it fully, you that is awareness, you that is in consciousness, you get to experience that. And in a really weird way, this is a profound gift. It's a gift that you actually are, It's not some con job. I can only give you, you can only receive yourself. You can only get who you are. Like, it's not like some game I'm playing. When you really think about it, you get to be you. You get to feel you. You get to always return to you. That is very powerful.